Hello friends, today we learned about some of the topics related to evolution. In the first half, we will talk about polymorphism, and in the second half, we will learn about population genetics. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is defined as the existence of two or more forms of the same species within the same population at the same time and place. The difference in such forms may be morphological, physiological or biochemical and are genetically determined. Ford in 1984 defined polymorphism as the occurrence together in the same locality of two or more distinct forms of individuals in the same population of species. Now, features of polymorphism. Polymorphism is due to the existence of more than two types of genotypes. Different forms are adapted to different types of environment. All Mendelian populations are polymorphic. Polymorphism increases the efficiency in the exploitation of resources of the environment. Polymorphism helps the species to survive efficiently in a variety of environments. Now, types of polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism have been identified in the population. First, balanced polymorphism and second, transient polymorphism. Balanced polymorphism. In this type of polymorphism, individuals with two or more forms coexist in the same population of a species in stable environment and show almost constant ratio. It means that in a population showing balanced polymorphism, the genotype frequencies of various forms occur at equilibrium. There can be following reasons for this genetic equilibrium. There is balance of selective forces so that no forms tend to be eliminated or both the alleles are maintained at appreciable frequencies in the population. Each form has a selective advantage of equal intensity. None of the forms has selective advantage over others. Heterozygotes are at a selective advantage, that is heterozygote superiority. The rare or the rarest allelomorph is advantageous. As it becomes common, its advantage decreases and it is converted into a disadvantage. Examples of balanced polymorphism. First, sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia results from a change in the structure of the hemoglobin molecule. Some of the red blood cells of persons with the disease are misshapen, reducing their ability to carry oxygen. In the heterozygote state, the quantities of normal and sickle cells are roughly equal. Sickle cell heterozygotes occur in some African populations with a frequency as high as 0.4. The maintenance of the sickle cell heterozygotes and both homozygous genotypes at relatively unchanging frequencies makes this trait an example of a balanced polymorphism. Why has not natural selection eliminated such a seemingly deleterious gene? The sickle cell gene is most common in regions of Africa that are heavily infected with a malarial parasite Plasmodium falciparum. Sickle cell heterozygotes are less susceptible to malarial infections. If infected, they experience less severe symptoms than do homozygotes without sickle cells. Individuals homozygous for the normal allele are at a disadvantage because they experience more severe malarial infections, and individuals homozygous for the sickle cell allele are at a disadvantage because they suffer from the severe anemia that the sickle cells cause. The heterozygotes who usually experience no symptoms of anemia are more likely to survive than either homozygotes. This system is also an example of heterozygote superiority, when the heterozygotes is more fit than either homozygotes. Heterozygotes superiority can lead to balanced polymorphism because perpetuation of the alleles in the heterozygous condition maintains both alleles at a higher frequency than would be accepted if natural selection acted only on the homozygous phenotypes. Second example is ABO blood groups. In human population, the existence of A, B, AB and O blood groups are also examples of balanced polymorphism. Though the genotypic frequencies within the different populations may vary, they remain constant from generation to generation within each population. This is because none of the alleles for these blood groups have a selective advantage over the others. Persons of blood group O have greater life expectancy than those of the other blood groups, but are prone to duodenal ulcers. Second polymorphism is transient polymorphism. Transient polymorphism is found in populations undergoing a strong selection pressure and one form is being strongly favored and the other getting eliminated. Thus, transient polymorphism lasts for a short period because polymorphism exists till the disadvantageous form is either completely eliminated or is reduced to such a low frequency that is only retained due to a recurrent mutations. Transient polymorphism is seen under the following situations. A newly arisen mutation is found to be advantageous and is favored by selection. It spreads through the population. It becomes more abundant while the wild type is becoming rare due to negative selection. In a changed environment, a previously rare form may become advantageous and is favored by selection. It spreads throughout the population. Examples of transient polymorphism. First, industrial melanism. Industrial melanism in peppered moth, that is Biston betularia, is an example of transient polymorphism. Up to 1848, peppered moths found in and around Manchester were creamy white with black dots and darkly shaded areas. These were called non-melanic forms. In 1848, a single black colored moth appeared among non-melanic forms. This melanic forms is now called Carbonaria. By 1895, about 98% population of peppered moth in Manchester was melanic. The black or melanic form arose by a recurring random mutation. Up to 1848, in the non-sooty atmosphere of Manchester, the tree trunks were covered with light colored lichens. The non-melanic forms were able to successfully camouflage with the lichens while resting and were able to survive, while the melanic forms were easily spotted out and preyed upon and were eliminated. As a result, a rapid industrialization in Great Britain, large amount of soot and other gases were poured into the atmosphere. These were deposited in the environment, making it sooty and dark and destroying the lichens. In the changed environment, role of natural selection changed because in dark atmosphere, light colored non-melanic moths were easily spotted by the predators and were being removed from the environment. Thus, polymorphism in peppered moth was only for a short period and favored strong selection. The transient polymorphism is seen during directional selection, where one form or character is gradually being replaced by another. An intermediate variety of peppered moth is called insularia. The insularia pattern is dominant or nearly dominant and is controlled by a different allelomorph at the same locus. Carbonaria is dominant to insularia, which in turn is dominant to non-melanic form. The distribution of insularia also indicates transitional polymorphism. The insularia is also a melanic form, but is found in the marginal regions where industrial pollution is less and carbonaria form is still rare. It means during early stages of pollution, insularia form becomes advantageous. Now, in the second half, we will discuss about population genetics. The applications of Mendelian's principles to analyze the genetic structure of natural populations come under the journal headings of population genetics. So far, we have studied the behavior of genes in terms of individuals. We now have to study the distribution of genes in terms of population. Such studies can only give us the total perspectives of evolutionary forces. Population genetics provides models and analytical tools by which the genetic compositions of population can be measured and described in quantitative terms based on mathematical analysis. By using simple algebra, the genetic structure of a population can be described in terms of gene frequencies, and by knowing the gene frequencies, we can make predictions regarding the evolutionary status of the population. The mathematical approach to population studies for genetic analysis was developed by Galton, Pearson and Fisher in the later half of the 19th and early part of the 20th centuries. Starting in 1924, Fisher, Haldane and Wright studied in great details the genetic structural changes in population. The changes in population gene frequencies are due to the following forces, that are mutations, selections, mating patterns, migrations and random genetic drift. We shall first consider situation in which genetic frequencies do not change, that is, they remain at equilibrium. Hardy-Weinberg law of equilibrium of gene frequencies. This law states that in a large population, the gene frequencies of various kinds of gene remain constant, generation after generation. If mating is at random and in absence of mutation, selection, migration and genetic drift. At the 20th century, there were various misconceptions about the relationship of Mendelian's ratios found by the genetic analysis and the actual proportions of different phenotypes and genotypes observed in populations. For example, in some dominant traits like brachydactyly, that is short limbs or brown eyes in man, the population composition is not 75% versus 25%. We do not found people having brachydactyly more common than normal people, or 75% people with brown eyes and 25 with blue eyes, although these traits are dominant in individual genotype. How can we explain these anomalies? Dr. Punnett himself was puzzled when somebody confronted him with above question. He in turn referred it to his mathematic friend Professor Hardy. Professor Hardy in 1908 worked out how gene frequencies in large population can remain constant. Similar formulation was independently predicted by the German physician Weinberg even earlier. This principle is now known as Hardy-Weinberg law or law of equilibrium of gene frequencies. Suppose that one population is composed of genotype capital A and that the second of genotype small a. If now two populations are brought together and breed at random and are free from other forces of evolution, then the frequencies of genes capital A and small a will remain the same as were from the initial generation after generation. Hardy showed that the initial frequencies of capital A genotype was P and the initial frequency of genotype small a was Q, so that the total frequency of both the alleles was 1, that is P plus Q is equal to 1. Professor Punnett had already worked out the algebraic expressions of the genes for generations. According to Punnett, the frequencies are designated as follows. P plus Q are designated as first generation. P plus Q the whole square is second generation. P plus Q the whole cube are third generations, and so on. Hardy showed that the gene frequencies P plus Q is equal to 1 in first generation, P plus Q the whole square in second generation, or P plus Q the whole cube in the third generation, will also show the same frequencies provided no evolutionary forces changed them. P plus Q the whole square is equal to P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. That is Punnett's algebraic expression. Similarly, F2 generation of genes will also follow. That is capital AA to AA small aa. That is when capital A is equal to P and small a is equal to Q, it can be represented as P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. That is 1:2:1 Mendelian ratio. Example, let us study the behavior of a gene which produces an enzyme that decomposes phenyl thiocarbamide, that is PTC. The degradation products of PTC taste bitter. Population can be divided into tasters, that is those who possess the enzyme and hence taste it bitter, and non-tasters. Although population consists of homozygous as well as heterozygous individuals, let us for the sake of the calculation consider that it consists of only homozygous tasters represented as capital T and homozygous non-tasters represented as small t. Now, if we try out PTC in a class of 160 students disregarding the sex, and suppose we get the following result: 108 testers and 52 non-testers. Frequency of the gene capital T and small t can be calculated. Let us consider that frequency P represents gene capital T and frequency Q represents small t gene. that is P plus Q is equal to 1. Small t is equal to Q square is equal to 52 by 160 is equal to 0.32. Therefore, t equal to Q is equal to square root of 0.32, that is equal to 0.565. Since P plus Q is equal to 1, P is equal to 1 minus Q is equal to 1 minus 0.565 is equal to 0.435. First generation frequency P is equal to capital T is equal to 0.435 and Q, that is equal to small t, is equal to 0.565. Therefore, P plus Q is equal to 0.435 plus 0.565, that is equal to 1. Hardy-Weinberg law states that frequencies of 2 alleles and 3 genotypes they produce will remain unchanged through an infinite number of generations. 2 population is said to remain equilibrium. It should, however, meet the following conditions, that are population in large, there is randomly mating, shows no mutation, has no selection pressure, that is genes are neutral, and remain closed, that is no migration of genotype occurs. In such conditions, the second generation gene frequency also remain constant, that is P plus Q the whole square is equal to P square plus 2PQ plus Q square is equal to 1, and hence for the third generation 2, that is P plus Q the whole cube is also equal to 1. Next is genetic drift, also known as civil right effect, come under 1931. Although mutation, selection and migration can be referred to as pressures because it is possible to predict the magnitude and direction of the changes in gene frequency which they produce, there is also a random aspect to evolution. Mutation as a process is random, of course, in the sense that any gene may mutate at any time in any cell without regard to advantage or disadvantage. Another random aspect of evolution is genetic drift. By genetic drift, we refer to the loss of an allele or its fixation in a population by sheer change unrelated to selection. The most important factor involved in this phenomenon is population size. The smaller the population, the greater the potential for genetic drift. Since change is the main feature underlying drift, the change for a sampling error in constructing genotypes from the gene pool would be higher if there were fewer individuals contributing to and drawing from a gene pool. We can illustrate this principle with an extreme example. Suppose there is a single heterozygous plant represented as capital A small a, which is self-fertilizing, and suppose it produces only one offspring which survives. The population size represented as n is 1 and is consistent in each generation. Since 3 genotypes could be produced by self-fertilization of the AA plant, there is a 50% chance that the single surviving offspring will be AA, in which case the frequencies of allele capital A and small a do not change. But it is equally possible that the single offspring might be one of the homozygous genotype. And if it is capital A, then the gene frequency changes to P equal to 1 and Q equal to 0, while an small a survivor would produce a change to P equal to 0 and Q equal to 1, each of which is different from the initial frequencies of P equal to Q equal to 0.5. In this way, the capital A allele may become fixed and the small a allele lost. The small a allele may become fixed and the capital A allele lost from gene pool only because of change and not because of relative fitness of the genotypes. Summary. In this chapter, we have studied about the polymorphism, features and types of polymorphism with examples. We have also discussed about the population genetics and learned the Hardy-Weinberg law of equilibrium of gene frequencies and genetic drift in the population. Hope you get good knowledge from it. Thank you.